What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Dave Gold Evolve podcast. That's right. We've got a special guest. His name is Paul Gordon, and he has traveled all over the world speaking in front of huge audiences, coaching high profile individuals on how they can master the art of face dancing and video. So it's a pleasure to have someone of your caliber on our podcast today. Thank you so much.
Big Dave, the pleasure is mine. We've spoken many times before, and for me, it's about the hang. I've, like you said, I've spent a lot of time with fancy people of various wealth and celebrity, and I don't give a shit about that. For me, it's about the hang. So you're one of the real people.
We're none of us are perfect, but the more humble you can be, I think the higher you can go. And and you're at a place right now where you are doubling down, I think, on what you really are passionate about, which is video mastery. So I wanted to learn more about how you got into this field. And first off, you can tell us a little bit about your life and where you're at right now in the world.
Uh, my life and where I am now. Life, the universe, and everything. So when I was really small, I was really small. I was the third shortest kid in school. The first shortest was a midget, and the second shortest was a dwarf. You know, we didn't call them little people back then. I'm a few years older than you, and so back then there was no PC concept. So midgets and dwarves. The first smallest was a midget. The second smallest was a dwarf, and then there was little Paulie. And no self-respecting bully would pick on a midget or a dwarf because the kids in the school wouldn't side with a bully on that situation. So I got picked on, and I had to develop my ability to defend myself. And I inadvertently ended up studying judo from a sensei in this little town outside of New York City who is one of the best. He was one of the best. We had the nation's most trophy winning amount of United States champions in per our dojo in the entire country, and I became a national judo champion. One of the things that he said was, if you want to improve your fluidity on the mat, you should consider taking dance class. And I was a teeny shy little kid. So I took some dance classes, and I found that number one, I could imitate physical movement very, very well. And number two, it was a really easy way to meet girls because the only other guys were usually gay, and there were only a few guys. And little shy Paulie ended up meeting girls for the first time, like without having to be made fun of or whatever it was. So things led to things. I was an organic chemistry major at university. I was going to become a doctor. And I took a big U-turn, and I inadvertently created an international touring performance company, traveled around the world performing on TV shows and stages. And I got out of my own way. I got out of being shy. I'm still very introverted, although you wouldn't know it. And traveling around the world, was asked to teach whenever you go someplace, whether it's big or small. They ask you to give lecdems, Q&As, master classes, whatever. And I didn't care about teaching people how to dance or act because they can get that in their hometown. So I taught them what I know, special sauce of me, which is everything from the neck up. And teaching public speaking, teaching artistic creative techniques, teaching performance, and all of that stuff just translates directly to fluidity on the camera from an artistic performance level presentation point of view. That's where I'm at. So now I live with my beautiful wife in Copenhagen, Denmark. We met and fell in love over the course of a 2-week-long festival that I was in southern Holland. She was
Mm.
performing with a Danish company. I was with my own company, and that was in 1990. And we couldn't make it work together until our lives kind of intersected in the right way in 2011. So 9 years ago, we met again, and now I moved to be with her, and we're here.
Is she Danish?
She's Danish. She's Danish. She's a painter, and that this piece here
Yeah.
is one of her medium-sized pieces. It goes all the way to the floor behind that sofa,
Mhm.
and it's it's 8 feet by 9 feet, and that's a medium-sized piece of hers.
I want to see the large pieces.
The large pieces are really fucking badass. She is so cool. Her stuff is just, boom, power.
And you made that one famous. I've seen that in a bunch of your videos. I love
Yeah,
that
yeah.
piece.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's we've been asked to sell some of the work. Number one, it's expensive, and number two, I really don't want her to sell that one because it's my favorite.
Your favorite backdrop for your videos.
Yeah.
So, what was the transition into um, traveling the world, doing public speaking, and then becoming a video master guru?
Um, well, like you said before, it's about humility, and I know what I know. I mean, I teach everybody that they should embrace this one particular message by this great American storyteller of over 100 years ago. His name's Will Rogers, and he said,
Mhm.
"Look, if you done it, it ain't bragging." And I agree with him completely. So for me, I only exclusively pursue things I love to do. I don't work with anybody I don't feel good about. I dumped a high ticket client a month ago. I could use his money, but I don't give a fuck. He's not. He. Time to give him the keys to the street. It
I
just
did the same thing. Like I had a coach and, I could use his coaching, but when someone does something that just is against your morals and your ethics, it takes a lot of courage and bravery to make sure that you're holding consistent to your voice. But if you are, you got to let them go and you got to move on.
agree completely. It's there's far more to the concept of value than money. And when you know who you are, what you want to say, and why you want to say it, no one can stop you. Nobody can stop you. They can't take away what's in your head and your heart. You do have to dig deep and understand that stuff. And that's a journey in itself. But I have carved out this funny little space in this online world because I preach the gospel of me.
Hmm.
I've been getting out of my own way for a long time. I've been teaching people how to get out of their own way and say what they mean. And I don't pull any punches. I do my best to be compassionate. I have my own bastardized version of a Buddhist koan, which is be compassionate, but take no shit. And I do my best to live up to that on a moment to moment basis. And people people who agree with me, resonate with what I'm saying, come to me, and I'm happy to help them along their path.
So, how does that work when you are compassionate but you take no shit? So, how do you negotiate between what you have inside and what you're feeling and what your gut is telling you to give and what others can actually receive and conceptualize and actually, understand without becoming super passive aggressive or defensive or, feeling harsh judgment or criticism?
I think one of the really valuable aspects of that, and this is and there's no single right answer, but I'll touch on what I believe to be the core. You have to divorce yourself from the fact that someone else is going to like or not like what you are about to say.
Mhm.
The whole idea is, if you are being compassionate, if you are trying to relate something as best as you can, as empathetically as you can, you owe it to yourself and to everybody else involved to actually say what you mean. Um, as long as it is within the sphere of stuff that is attempting to do good.
Mhm.
Saying what you mean to someone like, your haircut looks like shit, that doesn't help anybody. That's not nice. That's not within this sphere. But when you offer people saying, I've seen you many times before, and I like where you're going with that particular haircut and style. It's it's bold. It's
Let's
a
give
good.
another practical example. So let's say that someone is doing something in a way like selling their product in a manipulative way, okay, or pressuring people into selling something when the other person is not really coming to that conclusion in their own free will. How would you go about confronting or explaining to that person a better way to go about offering their services?
Well, I get, you and I and everybody else watching this will understand the aggressive bullshit sales techniques.
And we're going to talk about this, the amateurs in the coaching industry, and there's so many of them right now in 2020. Shit just blew up and everyone became a coach, okay, and started doing this full time and quitting their jobs because they thought that, they could teach others how to get dates or how to scale their six-figure business, okay? Or as
Yep.
you were talking about, do a split without actually doing the proper stretches before. So you've got people who are amateurs in this market, a market that you've been in for a very long time. How do you approach them when you see them going in the wrong direction?
I tend to call them out pretty quickly, and I say, uh, depending upon how they're coming at me, I don't give unsolicited advice.
Mhm.
So if I see someone out there doing something that doesn't feel right to me and I want to reach out to them, I explain that I'm seeing something in what they're doing. I'm not interested in unsolicited advice. If they want to hear what I think about their stuff, I'm happy to. All they need to do is let me know that it's okay. So it goes from unsolicited to polite, respectful, and solicited. All the people who are reaching out to me when it feels like bullshit, I say something like, I have a question for you. Does this feel good to you? And have you had success with this? I mean, and I also continue often. And I say, I gotta tell you, it smells pretty ugly to me. And I have engaged with many people who have responded with, do you have some alternate way? And I say, yeah, I have an alternate way. I refer to it as the theater of ethical selling. And, it's my own particular, quote unquote, branded concept, but nothing new under the sun. I'm just saying, there's a way to approach people. And I have some guy who's following me now. He joined my group and he's, you know, sending me some messages from time to time. I imagine he'll be able to afford my services at some point down the line. But in the meantime, I can give him plenty when he reaches out. And I say, he said, what's the alternative? I said, how about being nice? How about being nice? I'm a person, so let's get to know each other. And he said, well, how do you do that? And I said, well, here's my script. Please don't use it. Make it your own. But this is what I do. Hey, how you doing? On Facebook, I mean, this. On Facebook, I'm Gordon Paul. I reversed my name just for my own shits and giggles a long time ago.
Oh,
So
you did that on purpose.
yeah, yeah. And so, I introduce myself to people. I say, how's it going? Nice to meet you. Uh, for what it's worth, my name is reversed on Facebook. I'm actually Paul Gordon. And I hope you're doing well. All the best to you. Right now, I'm signing things Happy New Year. Regards, Paul. And there's the intro. Be a person. It's like meeting someone in a bar. What are you going to do? Hey, how's your business been these days? No, you come up and say, what's happening? How's it going? Good to meet you. Why not start there, right?
And what's your view on giving and receiving value? So this is a big one on this podcast that we talk about quite a lot. Um, at times, I'm really deep into the trenches of giving unconditionally to receive unconditionally. But many times that can come off the wrong way. So, one of my favorite personal branding experts that we had on, Ash, talked a lot about reciprocity. And now I start to see that reciprocity is a concept that can be interpreted by the receiver, and it's not always the way in which you're trying to portray your message. Sometimes you're saying, listen, I'm going to do this for you, okay, and I don't really want anything in return, or you can shut me down if I make you an offer. But that other person feels guilty, and that's why they'll buy from you. So maybe you can help me with this concept of, giving and receiving through reciprocity.
I don't expect anything in return, but I draw the line at certain types of stuff. When somebody is asking of me a lot, I will eventually say, I'm happy to help you free to a point, but what you're asking is starting to see what you're asking, and the frequency and the amount starts to fall under the category of a formalized relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want you to know that that's where I'm at with what we're talking about here. You can lean on me to a point, but we don't know each other since we were kids. So let's just call this what it is. And everything below that point, everything, everything that's not getting to that point of, look, you're really reaching out to me with the frequency of a client. Everything below that, I just give away for free. I give away all the little tips, tricks, tools, and hacks, no problem. What people get from me is my very fast study. I'm a very quick study on people's work because I've been teaching theatrical and presentation, skills for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And what they get from me, even above all the other direct access, is that I can connect all the components that they need now and incrementally over time. We need to focus on this right now. Then we're going to focus on this and this and this, right? So that's what I bring to bear on formalized relationships with clients. Tips, tricks, tools, and hacks, it's perfectly fine with me. And that's what I give away all the time. And that little thing that you saw, my live I just did.
Yeah, you're
Look,
doing lives, you're doing videos, you're doing trainings now in your free group, The
yeah,
Art of Face Dancing, right? How's that going?
yeah, it's good. People are reaching out. I'm finding the different price points where people can actually afford it. I don't want to break people's bank. And I've been talking with people who say, I'm saving my money to afford you.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, well, I get that. That's good. And I look forward to that. But there are many people I know won't be able to afford me until they move forward. So I want to be able to help them move forward.
Yeah.
And it's an interesting call to action for myself to
Yeah.
offer something in a consolidated program, a mini course that really, that fundamentally moves them forward. I don't
Yeah.
need to, like I said before, the value is more than the concept of money. So I'm making these mini courses, $200 for a 2-week thing, and it's a daily training. And I know that some people make these, daily training things where a video is like, a video has a upsell on it, and it's like 2.5 hours daily with upsells, and then you have some homework to do. And who the fuck has time for that? I make it quick, I make it effective, I couple it or link it to some homework that they have to do. The homework
Mhm.
that they have to do is also doable. Theoretically, if they're effective enough at it, they can do that homework within 15 minutes, maybe
Mhm.
30, maximum an hour. And that's daily because they've paid. And $200 for 2 weeks. I mean, damn, that's ridiculously expensive. So I just figure, I'll just throw that shit together and move people where they need to go.
I think it's such a good point as well. Just moving the needle for people, um, rather than trying to help them reinvent the wheel. When a lot of people right now, they do need specialized help. And you're a video mastery coach. I'm a personal branding coach. They do need this specialized help, but there is a reluctance to invest in themselves, and there is also a fear in who do I trust, because when you've got so many coaches and people posting content these days, it does become overwhelming for the end consumer to make an actual purchase rather than just continuing to consume content for free. So
Yeah.
if there are young and aspiring entrepreneurs out there that are thinking about getting into video to market their services or to create some kind of video course, where do you think that they need to start?
You got to speak from the heart, and you got to talk right into the camera, and you got to talk directly to one person and one person only, the way I'm talking to you, right? That's the first little group of things. Second,
Foundation.
yeah, that's the foundation. Second is whatever you really care about, that's the shit you should talk about. That's the shit that you should build your entire thing around.
Mm.
For one reason above all the other important reasons of it is that when you do something you truly care about and you like researching in your spare time, this doesn't feel like work as much. And there's a lot of fucking work involved. We all know that.
Mm.
Everybody earning their living as an entrepreneur is working more than 40 hours a week. All those people, I mean, what's his name? The 4-hour work week guy,
Timothy
Tim Ferriss.
Ferriss.
Yeah, exactly. 4-hour work week. That sounds good. He doesn't do that.
No.
He works his fucking balls off.
Absolutely, you're right. Calling out Tim Ferriss right now.
That's right. I mean, but he knows, and he's the first one to admit it. He say, 4-hour work week sounded great. It's a philosophy about what is work and what isn't work, but that doesn't mean you're not on the clock for more than 40, for 4 only. No. Um, so we shave off the amount of tedium by doing something we care about. And then we're getting into something where I'll just this is my straight up, no bullshit understanding of this stuff. Um, there's there's content goes in the 3 basic simple categories. There's short
Mhm.
form, medium form, and long form content. I don't watch anything that is an hour long. Nothing.
We're cutting the interview off right now.
Absolutely. And and I give lives in my, you have to know when, you have to know what. is appropriate for
A
longer
specific
form.
audience.
If you understand when to go long form or long-ish form, then you can do that, and you you can bring it fine. But learning short form, that's the hardest.
I have to agree with you because as I'm getting into the person development world and coaching, full time over the last 2 years. Before that, I was just kind of dabbling with it. And I'd been on my journey. I started to give back, and then I realized, okay, I could actually make an impact. I feel that creating long form content can be very attractive to myself, but not to others. So I'll do these interviews with the experts in different industries, and we'll get into great discussions, and then like 100 people will watch it. Okay. And they might not even watch the whole thing. And then I'll post um, a question post, which is like, what do you want to let go of in your life? Or what are your goals for 2021? Or what do you really
And
hate about the coaching industry? And then everyone is commenting and liking, and it's like it triggers people. Okay. Or we were talking about this before the podcast. I'm telling guys that I'm coaching right now, young and aspiring entrepreneurs, to get on TikTok because the amount of organic engagement is so high there. I got to admit, I only have a few videos on TikTok, and they're not about what I actually teach. So I've got to get over there as well. But the attention span has been trimmed to 8 seconds. People are like, all right, if you haven't caught me, I'm gone. I'm on to the next one. I've almost started to think that intro that I post in the beginning, even though I love it, even though I connect with it, it actually turns people off to watch the video. And if they don't connect with what you're saying in the first 8 seconds, they're gone. So how do you keep them? How do you
scroll,
keep them
scroll,
involved?
scroll.
And this is basically us talking about the subjective reality that's at play in creating a unique experience for the listener or viewer. So
Yeah.
how do you do it? Because I know you do it so well. You create such a unique experience that people want to keep coming back to.
It's yeah, I haven't experimented with TikTok, and you've gotten me intrigued with this now because
Hmm.
I know what it is, and I have seen some things, but I'm sure I can find a form within that. But for me, understanding, because I know what it means to be able to structure fast content and have my own live, what I refer to as live editing, right? Editing in camera, live in my brain as I'm doing. There is a skill to that, there's a method to that, there's an understanding of various principles that you can do there, and it takes some prep.
That's something
So,
that you do. You don't actually jump cut your videos.
no.
You just post them the way they are, and you'll see that you're thinking, okay, you're making mistakes as you go. But what does that do? It really embodies your authenticity and puts you vulnerably out in front of your audience so that they can see that, all right, this guy's not putting himself on a pedestal. He's looking me straight in the eyes and telling me exactly what I need to hear.
My Yes, yes, I agree, and thank you, by the way. My entire premise of what I do here is I am myself. I am using myself as my own guinea pig. I deliver in a way that is proof positive of my own efficacy, and this is what I teach other people. My other contention is there's edited video and there's unedited video. And if you have, let's say you have someone who's doing your editing for you, let's say you know how to do your editing. That's perfectly fine. Or if you have your editing guru who's, making your shit look good
You've
for
got a
you.
team of video editors in the Philippines. It's very common these
That's
days,
right.
right?
Exactly. There you go. So you got your Upwork greatness, and none of those fuckers are going to save you from your lives, right? You have to do a Facebook live, you have to do a YouTube live, you have to do whatever type of live, you have to do a webinar, you have to do a summit, you have to be on a Zoom session with people, and there is no editing guru that is at your disposal right there. You have to learn how to do this. And that's the unedited, that's what I refer to as unedited brilliance. Your own particular, unique, impactful, fun, stylized, energetic self needs to come across here. And when you understand the things that I know, that I've refined down and pared back and condensed into programs, I can let you in on a method that is buildable, actionable, and impactful. So that's where this stuff is, you know. And there's lots of people. You brought up a good thing, a really interesting point earlier. People are scarred and they feel these pains from childhood, or just internal insecurity stuff, and they bring those things, and this is how we are trying to get out, learn about ourselves so that we can get out of our own way and we can say exactly what we mean. What I offer and what I believe in is getting out of your own way and then saying exactly what you mean takes a lot of introspection, examination, and practice. And if you use someone who understands how to do that, for example, a person who works with actors to make their theatrical presentations real badass, or on TV, whatever it is, when you can get out of your own way and say the things you truly, truly mean, that aren't, cruel, that show, be compassionate, but take no shit mentality, you are capable of saying, of actually articulating what other people only dare think of. And when you're in their head, they will automatically start to resonate not only with what you're saying, but with the fact that you have some of what they want. And it's not a greedy thing. It's about being able to help people. And that's where your generosity thing comes in. How is it that reciprocation? If you give and you're interested in anchoring what you want to do for people in that space of, I can figure out, I have located how my shit is tied to saving the fucking planet, then it's coming from the right place.
All right, so you figured out that your shit's gonna save the planet, but you don't know actually how to get to the place where the planet is saved. Can video mastery, you know, how far can it take you? All right, and what's kind of the potential in diving into the art of face dancing in front of that camera that you've got in front of you?
Well, it's huge, for if for no other reason than the fact that right now video is king.
Mm-hmm.
And we are tired of being marketed.
Mm-hmm.
We are tired of being manipulated. And that's the other difference between unedited and edited video. You and I both know, when you see edited video, even when it's done well, you know that it has been doctored, you know that it has been strategically tweezed, and you know that it has been, to a certain extent, gussied up and manipulated. And we understand that. And we know even the best of that has still been excised from all of its ugly parts. And when we see none of that, we know we're getting the real deal. And if you speak from the heart, and if you express what you actually believe, you can resonate with people on a deep, profound, gut level.
It's a heart to heart kind of place.
Yeah.
Where someone surrenders to their emotions and their feelings. Much more difficult for guys, definitely more feasible for women. But you surrender to what your heart's telling you, and you're like, I trust this guy. I know who he is. I like him, but now I trust him because I can really see that he's not just trying to sell me on another course. He's not just looking at me as a testimonial or a number.
Right.
He
Right.
actually wants to help me to fulfill my purpose in life, not make a dollar amount, not sleep with X amount of women, but to fulfill my legacy.
When I don't need you to buy right now and I'm interested in the long game and you can come to me when you're ready, then I have disarmed you and us in our conversation about money because I don't need you now.
Mhm.
I am here to help when you're ready. And I don't even take everybody, like we talked about, dumping a client, dumping a coach, you know, I don't take everybody who wants to work with me. And I'm not going to waste my valuable seconds of my life with a person who's going to make my life troublesome and tedious. I've worked very hard to structure my life so that I only do what I really care about.
That's a tough one for the young guys because they're super anxious to just sign up clients, sign up
Yeah,
anyone.
yeah.
And it's like getting out of that mentality of closing.
Nobody closes me, and uh, I tell them when they're trying to, when they're trying, when they get to that point of you want to hop on a call, I say, I'm warning you, I only work with people I already know, respect, and trust. I won't buy your stuff right now, and I'm not even sure that I'm interested in anything you have to sell. So if you want to get to know me, I'll talk with you. And then we see who actually sends something.
Yeah, whether they still want to get on a call.
Yeah.
Such a big one. I
If
mean,
they,
I love getting on calls with people to connect. And sometimes they think that even when it's a connection call, that there's a agenda or purpose behind it. You're trying to sell them something because the market has been scarred. People have been scarred by their family situation or by their relationships, but they've also been scarred by others trying to sell them things, sometimes that they needed, and the message just didn't come across in an ethical or moral way. And other times they've bought something that wasn't as advertised, or it wasn't what they actually needed. And
yeah,
I think that ended up being the core of this conversation is, you know, when you really want to make an impact on someone's life, you can do it through authentic trust. Getting to that place where people they see that you're just human, and they like you and they like what you have to offer, and it's a mutual understanding. And one of the best ways to do that is through video, something that I'm getting into more. And, I see a lot of challenges that myself and other guys face in video mastery. And that's why, it's great to have someone like you in the arena who's putting so much content out, trying to help people, trying to be of service, um, and creating a difference. So go for it.
when we first met,
Mm.
we just had our quote unquote discovery call was, you seem interesting. I want to get to know you. And we clicked and we had a nice call. It was a wonderful, and it was the same as this.
It was the same thing where I was just like, yep, probably not going to buy anything. And you're like, that's A-okay. Let's just get on a call and get to know each other, build a relationship.
Right.
And that's really, practicing what you preach. And I encourage, if there are other aspiring coaches or entrepreneurs that are out there, to build these relationships and these connections with people, because you never know at what point you're going to want to collaborate or to work with them, or you're going to want to, you just never know when you build up your network and you build up your connections and you build it on a level of, not really wanting to sell someone something, but also having something of value to offer. um, the world starts to open up and your business opportunities start to become vast. So
Yeah, I agree.
what's going on in the mind of Paul Gordon in 2021? Where are you taking your business and the art of face dancing?
Well, for starters, from the imminent notion, um, you and I have been honing back and forth a meticulously planned unit of training in your group.
Yeah, Dave Gold Evolve, guys, check it out.
So that's going to be in there for free, or
That's right.
however it's structured, in order to facilitate and accelerate improved video excellence, which I'm delighted to be able to offer, if for no other reason that I know this is actually going to create good habits instead of some of that other bullshit out there that's creating bad habits. So
Yeah.
good. Um, a friend of mine from way back has been following me for months
Mhm.
and reached out to me to create a program for the World Bank.
Mm.
I have two other collaborations. I get a lot of people wanting to collaborate with me, and I say no. And you understand the power of no. It's Eckhart Tolle's lesser known book, The Power of No. No.
Just, we got like 3 more minutes, so I'm going to let you finish on that point, which is the power of no.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you?
You gotta you if you if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. If you
Mm.
don't know exactly what you need, what you care about, what you can focus on, you're just going to be pulled in every different direction. And there's all we've been talking this whole conversation about all that shiny object syndrome bullshit out there.
Mm.
And you have to truly understand 2 feet on the planet, put your hand on a rock, look up in the sky and say, I know exactly what I'm fucking doing now. And when you do that, then you don't get swayed one way or another, and you don't get distracted by all the people trying to pull you in one direction or another, and you choose your life and you choose your focus and you choose your direction. Then you can move exactly where you need to go as best as you can. Sometimes you fuck up, of course you fuck up, we all fuck up, but you move forward into the stuff you need to do, you want to do, and you care about doing. And all those other offers out there, you can politely say, I'm gonna have to say no to this one. Thanks so much. Or call me in a few months, or whatever you want to say, and you just turn them all down and you keep your nose to the grindstone and go.
Mic drop. That was a great way to end it. I love it. The power of no. So much shiny object syndrome going on. So many people that they they already know what they need to do. So now just shut up and go and do it, rather than reverting course and going in 30 different directions. And, I echo that for myself. I've got to remain very focused on the mission at hand.
Yeah.
And Paul, we got through it. It's been a great podcast. We're going to see more of you in, as we said, my free group, Dave Gold Evolve. Paul's going to be dropping a video mastery training. So if you guys are, high integrity men that want to join my group, now's a good time to hop on in there. And if you want to reach out to Paul and join his group, where can they do that?
Yeah, that's theartoffacadancing.com. They can just find me through you. If they don't know how to find me, Harry American Troll, and ask you, and you can send them over and they can find my group. but the art of face dancing and, you know, the whole thing for your guys. I mean, don't we all want to be able to say what, you know, get out of our own way and say what we fucking mean? Wouldn't that be liberating? For me, it
Wouldn't
is.
it? Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
nice? All right,
Yeah.
Paul, we'll talk soon. Peace, brother.
Yazaman.